Well, hello there. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Come on in the room. You are welcome to be here. My name is Michelle Green, and I am the founder of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, as well as Kingdom Builders Business University, as I was about to say. So we do all things money, all things credit, as well as all things business. But you are here today because we bring to you every Friday the credit and financial tips with Michelle Green. That's me. And what we do is we help people to understand their credit, their finances better so that you can have an 800 and 850 credit score, as well as learn how to manage your manage your credit well. So what we're doing today, as always, we're jumping into a topic around the fingerprint scans, the face IDs, and the voice recognition that nobody's talking about. Okay, but before we get into the topic for today, we are actually going to make sure that you are subscribed. Stop playing games with us. Stop dating us. Stop just viewing us and hit that subscribe button, okay? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you set your notifications because listen, we are powered by the CTR Media Network. This is a network that is globally streaming, and you don't want to be a part of that? Come on over. Click that subscribe button right now and set the notification so you never ever forget a moment with KBCR Michelle Green and credit and financial tips, as well as all of the other shows that we offer. So, first, we always jump into what is credit because we don't want anyone to be watching and have this question mark in their minds around what is credit. Credit is the ability to be able to purchase or finance something when you don't have enough money to pay for it right out. So when we think about credit, we think about the fact that banks and lenders offer us the option of financing something that we cannot afford right now. And whatever that may be, we will make sure that with your credit, you have the right score and the right type of credit so that you can excel in the credit industry. We also educate you very thoroughly on your particular credit report. So this is not a company that just throws up a bunch of fluff up against the wall and just blows that smoke up your behind. We are a company that stands firm on the things that we teach you that are valid information, it's valid and it's relevant in today's society. So it's something that you can actually use right away as soon as you join our program. And that's why we stand on our businesses. We stand on God, and God is our business. He's our foundation. So we make sure that you get the right information so that you can thoroughly win in the credit game. So credit is very simple. If you don't have enough money right now, then guess what? You can get it financed and put it on your credit, but you have to have some sure understanding around how to play the credit game. And that's why we started Credit and Financial Tips, as well as the whole company, Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, in the first place, because we know that most people are not educated on how to play this game. So today we are going to talk about the fingerprint scans, the face IDs, and the voice recognition. I thought it was quite amazing how, in my business school, we talk about the fact that God gave us this fingerprint, He gave us an eye retina, and He gave us a voice. And here we are relating that topic to our credit and finances. Isn't that kind of amazing? Don't y'all understand by now that everything that is in the world today comes from an original place? It comes from a precept, an original source. But I'm not talking about that today. So we're going to talk about this face ID, the fingerprints, and the voice recognition. So many of us are experiencing in the credit industry in our day-to-day walk, especially us that have cell phones, that have any type of equipment where we have a device, we have to log into everything, don't we? So with that being said, we know that we have to have some type of face recognition, some type of fingerprint, and some type of voice recognition as well. So fingerprint scans, face IDs, voice recognition is the thing of today's society, and it's just going to continue to increase. But what we don't understand is that this is a whole industry, an industry where you can actually have your identity stolen. So the biometric security is the proper name for the fingerprint scans, the face ID, and the voice recognition. Biometric security is the name that you want to place in your brain and keep it etched there going forward. But this is something that we cannot necessarily stop from happening. So if you upgrade your cell phone, if you upgrade to the latest device, like a tablet or iPad or whatever, if you are turning on your television, you will still have to have some type of voice recognition, face ID, or fingerprint scan. And what we want to understand is that this is something that is going to continuously be throughout the rest of our lives, and it will increase for thieves, identity thieves, to be able to steal this information, even though it is very unique to us, and many of us kind of feel safe. Some of us feel like, oh my God, I don't want to put my face on everything. I don't want to put my fingerprint on it, and I don't want to use my voice because it's unique to me. And we may just be scared of it. Just like we talked about last week with artificial intelligence, we have to understand what we need to do in today's society so that we can continue to excel in our finances and our credit industry. So it is a form of security that allows us to be specific to the individual. However, identity thieves have a way of getting around pretty much everything. So one of the things that we want to talk about today is how to solve the problem from the identity thieves stealing your fingerprints, your face recognition, and your voice recognition. All right, so let's get into it. One of the things that we look at with the whole industry of biometric security is that we have to disable voice authentication immediately as it relates to a bank app or any type of app that we have on our phones that has voice authentication. So especially as it relates to banks, because with our bank accounts, it is really easy for someone to hear us on the phone, place a phone call to us, or, if they are in the vicinity and hearing us talk. Did you know that a identity thief can literally just be standing by with a microphone of some sort, with a recording of some kind, and record your voice? They can literally get you on the phone. They can be within range of you speaking. And when your voice is picked up, it will be recorded and recognized and transposed into an approval for authentication for any type of service. This is important. The reason why I'm talking about the banks and credit unions first is because this is the place where we house our money, right? So our money is at the bank and credit union. We need to understand that the bank and credit union needs to have a more secure way, and they may already have, depending on who you have a bank account with or a credit union with, they may already have security, but you want to check to make sure that they're up to date on the fingerprints, the face IDs, and the voice recognition, all three, not just one. So when it comes to you logging in and out of your bank information, you want to first check with the bank to make sure that they have the proper security in place so that they will make sure that if anything happens, that there are certain laws and certain things that they are required to have in place that it's there. And then we want to look at the fact that the biometrics of the fingerprint and the face ID, if you're using that in order for you to open up your bank account, like to go into your bank app or your credit union app, and you're looking at your funds, We need to make sure that they have the right security, that just in case someone tries to steal our identity, that there's going to be an immediate fraud alert that pops up that says, hey, stop the press, stop the press. We're not moving any further until we verify that this is something that you have approved. Before they start trying to take money out of your bank account, this is something that we need to check with every single bank and credit union that we have established with, not just on our apps, on our phones, but as well as the devices that we have downloaded and logged into the bank accounts with. We need to verify with the bank that the authentication is secured with the bank account. All right. And you can do that by making sure that you go into your app on your phones or your devices and deactivating the voice authentication for the bank account. That's for your actual bank account. So, for example, if you bank with Bank of America, Chase, or if you have like a Fidelity account, or I don't know, a Wood Forest, a Truist account, a Navy Federal, a USAA, whoever the company is, you need to make sure your device does not have activation authenticated for that particular bank or credit union unless you have checked with the bank to make sure that all three processes are fully secured with fingerprint scan, fully secured with Face ID, and fully secured with voice recognition. Hello, Miss Tracy. Hello, everyone out there watching. Thank you for watching and thank you for being here. All right. So that is the first thing that we need to understand of what we need to do in order to disable the identity thieves from moving forward with our stuff, because that's the place where all our money goes. It goes into the bank account. So if it's going into the bank account, we got to make sure that the bank is secure. And not every bank has the proper protection for fingerprint scans, Face IDs, and voice recognition. So you have to take the responsibility to checking out the bank. Look at the terms and conditions. Look at the security portion of your contract agreement with the bank or the credit union to make sure that you are secured. And then to add the additional measure of security, go into your device settings and deactivate the voice recognition, the Face ID, and the fingerprint scans to make your life a little bit easier. Okay. I know for some of you, you're like, that wouldn't make my life easier because I use my face recognition for everything. But you just got to make sure that it is secure before you continue to use those types of login options. All right. So another thing that we want to understand about this fingerprint scan, Face ID, and voice recognition is that we have to switch to a stronger form of password identity. When we're logging into our passwords, and Lord knows we got like a million, and I do mean like a million passwords, login passwords for every single thing that exists, right? Well, when we're looking at the different logins, we have to make sure that we are setting up a really strong password. Now, I know you've heard this a million times, and maybe you have a secure password, so you think. But when we look at the password, does it include a uppercase or lowercase? Does it include a number or a few numbers? Does it include a symbol of some sort? Does it include a length of 14 characters or more? Now, that's where most of you said no, I'm sure. But when it comes to our passwords, what we have to make sure about the security of biometrics is that we have a password that is a minimum of 14 characters or longer. And this is not a password that you are going to probably memorize. So most of us with our passwords, excuse me, what we tend to do is we tend to use the same exact passwords over and over and over again because we're trying to make sure that we can remember how to get in our own stuff. However, when it comes to the things where our money can be pulled from us or from someone accessing something that is highly important, like an investment, a bank account, a savings account, or whatever it is that they can actually pull cash from, then what we want to do is make sure that we have the additional security measures in place. So don't just create any old password that you normally would create for the things that are most important to you and that would cause a high risk if someone were to access a credit card or a debit card or your bank account information and be able to steal money from you. And I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars if possible. So we don't want to leave open the opportunity for someone to steal our fingerprints, Face ID, or voice recognition by recording us or watching us, or even when we go into different places where, let's say we're at the gas station and there is a reflection of our face in the window. Okay, we don't realize that the reflection is capturing our face IDs. So wherever there is a camera and you can't get around that these days, there is going to be an opportunity for an identity thief to be somewhere in the vicinity of where you are and capture your face ID, capture your fingerprint from opening a door, from being able to put your money on a counter, from opening up, picking up something from a shelf and maybe putting it back. These are ways that identity thieves can actually capture your information. I know it's scary, but we do not have a spirit of fear. We have a spirit of power, love, and a sound, disciplined mind. So as long as we are educated with information, we can move forward with what it is that we need to do to protect ourselves, right? So that's why we're having this conversation. But as it relates to our passwords, we want to additionally secure our passwords by making sure that we have a long password that consists of a letter, a number, a symbol of some sort, and it needs to be a minimum of 14 characters. Now, another way that we can also secure our fingerprints, our face ID, and our voice recognition is by doing a two-step authentication. A two-step authentication means that you're not just going to log in with your password, but there may be an additional Face ID recognition that you have in addition to that 14-character password that you created. And you want to also switch up the password as often as you can. I would say a minimum of at least 60 days, at least 30 to 60 days, change your password information. I understand. Listen, I know how stressful it is to go day to day and you can't even remember all your passwords. So I'm not saying that you need to write them down, because sometimes when we write things down, and sometimes even when we put it in a system, in a computer system, especially on a device, that's exactly where the thieves are looking to steal your identity. So the password is one form of recognition. So we definitely need to be considering changing that password every single 30 to 60 days. And even though it may be inconvenient, if you want to secure the biometrics of security, then we got to make this change. We have to decide that this is something that we are going to participate in. Okay, so go ahead and make sure you're changing the password at least 30 to 60 days minimum, a maximum. Don't go over 60 days without changing your password, making sure that it is a 14-character password or longer, and then make sure that you are, you have a two-step authentication. So don't just do the password, do a Face ID, do a voice recognition, and do a fingerprint. Or have a list of different codes that represent your fingerprint. I know one of the things that I notice whenever you're dealing with government information, so if you're logging into like irs.gov, or if you're logging into the state that you are in and you're logging into any type of government information, if you're creating a username and a password for those entities, what ends up happening is they require you different forms of protection and for your passwords and your IDs. And one of the things that I noticed with the IRS is that they have a 10 code fingerprint ID for you to be able to log in and out of the IRS's site. So one of the options that it gives you is to be able to transpose your fingerprint ID into a code. So let's look at changing our fingerprints, our face recognition, and our voice recognition into a code that will represent our face IDs, that will represent our fingerprints. And then you can learn more about that in the actual Kingdom Builders Credit Repair program. We can talk to you about that personally of how to set that up. So we want to fully and thoroughly protect ourselves from the identity thieves of biometric security. And we do this by not just doing one password, not just doing a regular password that we do for everything else, but learning how to extend our passwords to 14 characters, learning how to have multiple identifications for logging into our passwords, okay? So wherever we're logging in, especially at the bank or credit union, we need to have multiple steps of logging into our accounts, not just one, okay? And then we need to look at the fact that we can change our identities of face IDs, fingerprints, and voice recognition into codes. So just like we would set up, for example, a barcode, you know how we might have an event coming up and we want to use a barcode in place of the actual code that is written out because it's long and it doesn't look good. So we just want to use a barcode for people to scan. Well, you have the same ability to use a code, a barcode, or a code that is fixated from your fingerprints and from your face recognition and your voice recognition. You have the ability to be able to do that, and you want to be fully aware of what you're putting where and having a secure place that you know that you can go back to so that you can remember how to get in your own information, how to get in your own bank account, how to get in your own services that you are receiving. So we want to make sure that there is no suspicious activity. We want to make sure that there is an awareness around wherever you are, whether or not someone is picking up your fingerprint, if someone is picking up your eye retina, or if someone is picking up your face ID or your voice. Now, I didn't really talk about the eye retina, but the eye retina is the face ID. So the main identification from your face is not just the shape of your face, but it is the actual eyes that they are looking into to capture the identification of who you are. So we've got to make sure that we are conscious of what's going on around us. What are we looking at? What are we staring at? When someone tells us to look into a glass of some sort or look into a particular device, when someone tells us to look into a camera, or we walk into a store and we see that there are certain types of mirror images around us, we have to be conscious that identity thieves can take this information. They can listen to us talking. They could take the information from something that we touch, something that we are showing our mirror image of with our eyes in the screen, and it can capture the information and steal it and open up anything and everything that we have in our name. Okay, and then some more. So if you have any further questions about biometric security, I want you to make sure that you go to www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com. Go ahead and get signed up by clicking the Let's Talk button, and then we can talk deeper about this conversation. If you learned something today, put what you learned down in the comments below. Make sure that you like and that you share this information, because this is a worldwide issue of identity thieves beginning to steal the fingerprint scans, the face IDs, and the voice recognition, which is basically, like I said, everything that is in the Word of God that says that this is how we are identified. So please be aware of your surroundings. Please be aware of how people can steal this data from you. Be mindful of not to decide that you're going to just go by an email, a text message. You are not going to respond to an email or a text message or even a phone call, especially the phone calls that come through and nobody's saying anything on the other line. Now you need to protect yourself by waiting for the other party to speak before you open your mouth, because it could just be an identity thief stealing your identity. All right, that's all that we have to talk about today. Like I said, if you've enjoyed this session and you learned something, put what you learned below. If you have a question about something, put your question below and go to our website at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Put in your question in the Let's Talk option, and we can talk about how we can make your life better at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair for your finances and your credit. Every single Friday, we come on at 12:30 to 1 to give you ways to take care of your financial lifestyle. So make sure that you are sharing this opportunity for people to watch this TV show. Make sure that you are sharing this opportunity that people don't miss out on these Friday episodes. Okay? And like I said, if you have any questions, hit us up. Let us know what your question is. If you have already been in our program, thank you for being a client. And if you need to come back, that's absolutely okay. If you're currently in our program, we welcome you to write your questions down. And when we have a session with you, make sure that you pull those questions back up so that we can discuss the details about your particular situation with your credit and finances. And if you have not been a Kingdom Builders Credit Repair client yet, then please go ahead and get into our program so that we can take your credit all the way to an 850 credit score, and also show you how to manage your money so that every time a lender or creditor looks at you, they know that you are top tier, you are at the highest level, and they will willingly and readily do business with you right away. Okay? So that's all we have for today. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure that you have subscribed again, that you set those notifications, and that you reach out to us. We love to talk with you, and I hope that you have a very happy Friday, and blessed weekend. Until next week, we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
At Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, you are more than a customer. You are a partner in your credit repair journey. We offer one-on-one guidance in a warm and friendly atmosphere. Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, empowering people to have financial dominion on purpose. Visit us online at www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com.
1320 Main Street, Suite 300, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Call 844-KBCR LLC. 844-KBCR LLC.